Alright, kids, cross your fingers. Okay. Alright, where's chat? Close that. Chat's supposed to be right here. Streaming. Oh, that's why it's set to Chrome. That's not what I wanted it to do. Why isn't that popping up? I'm trying to have it set up to where the chat is like on the side when I do the pre-stream check-in. So I thought I might add that, make it interesting. I just need to turn on the heat. But it looks like that's just not gonna want to work. Oh well. So yeah, how have y'all been? I thought I might add this bit as a conceptualized it as just a bunch of small talk, tending the flock, talking with chat directly before I get to work. I mean, right now it might not mean anything, but mic is on. Okay. Yeah, I am a lot better than I was yesterday. I mean, yesterday my throat was really sore. Now I'm just stuffy. Because this happens every winter. Because my mom works with kids. And then she gets sick because kids don't know how to wash their damn hands. Or cover their coughs. And then I get sick soon after. And then maybe my sister, and then my dad never gets sick. He hardly ever gets sick, which is just amazing. Like, how do you do that, man? Teach me your ways. But, I don't know. Sick, too. Yeah. It's the seasonal thing. See, usually I get sick in December, but the weather for this December was so mild. It was like barely 40 degrees, which, usually for us, December is like 15 below with high winds and whatnot, but then nothing happened. But last week, or like this weekend, my entire, like, half of my state got hit with this huge power outage. So we had to deal with that. The power, yeah, it was like middle of the day. I'm working, even, it's Friday, so it's technically my day off. Power blips out and it shuts down. It's like everything shuts down. So I'm like, oh, great. It's this time of year where everything just goes bleh. And then it flickered and then died at like, I don't know what time it was, but it was like 2 o'clock when the time went out. when the power and internet just died, and it did not come back fully until like 7 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's already dark out. Winds really picked up. We had to keep the fire going all day, and it came back sort of at around 6, but it was like a brownout, so it was only like we were at half power because apparently a line went down, and then they had to go find it and fix it, which it took them a while to find it because our area is so rural. Thankfully, my dad, we have generators, so we were able to hook up the house to the generator so we could at least use the microwave and whatnot to cook some warm food. And we also have a bunch of flashlights and battery-operated lanterns, so that was fine. I worked out my new schedule, if you can hear my paper, by candlelight. Well, by kerosene lamp light. That's where I got the idea to add, to rework my entire stream schedule. And add this to chat. Just so I can get into the groove of talking before I hop into work. And just so I can relax, chill, and yeah. Chat is supposed to be up on the side. That's pissing me off that it's not working. Anyway. Well, it's not seasonal for me. I just had too much to drink at my prom. My prom, I remember my senior prom. My senior prom was, it was really boring. And I didn't realize they didn't serve food at prom. They barely served punch. Because I thought it was just going to be like homecoming. Because like prom is bigger than homecoming. So I thought, oh yeah, they're going to have more, more things at prom. Because prom's the bigger dance than homecoming. And at my senior homecoming, they had like nacho cheese and, like loaded nachos that we could eat. And it was like unlimited loaded nachos and drinks and whatnot. So I'm like, yeah! But then when I went to the prom, which was like in a very expensive location, and it's just showing up, they had no water, only punch, and I could not find the bathroom that entire night. So I'm just, what is this? Homecoming was in a barn. My senior homecoming was in a barn, and it had more commodities than this very expensive rented building. People were showing up in limos. And I'm like, guys, there's no punch. And the punch, there's no, like, stuff to do here. There was barely a disco ball. And the punch they did serve was absolute garbage. It was not even, like, Lipton tea is better. It tasted, honestly... So yeah, the problem is I don't remember most of my prom. Oh no, man. I gotta figure something out with this. Where's the select area? Capture cursor? No, not for that. I swear I'm a professional because I'm trying to get it to where in this window you can see chat fly by. Because I know on Twitch they have like an overlay that you can work on, but I'm on OBS. And I can't just... black for you. Huh? A black that shouldn't be... That's not right. Hold on. On my end, it says everything's here. Hang on. Can you only see, like, this stream? Because... Huh. Well, that's concerning. It was on my end, YouTube. Oh! Okay. Phew! Because I don't know... I'm so... I don't know how to fix tech anything. So, yeah. Well, it's 11:46. I think we can get into the swing of things. So let's switch and switch. There we go. I'm looking at the black screen for 5 minutes. I don't blame you, man. Because anytime I try anything new with the stream, I automatically expect it to go wrong. Okay, where do I want to start? I'm going to start with David since he's the most. He's the most. That needs to get moved. There we go. Now I can see. I have a lunch packed for myself, so I shouldn't get... If I get hungry, I'll just take a lunch break on stream so I don't have to leave, and I'll, like, put the chat stream back up, I guess, and, like, sit back so y'all don't hear me chewing. What's for lunch? Currently, I have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich wrapped in a tortilla. The best way to eat peanut butter and jelly. And veggie straws. Which, if you don't know what they are, they're basically like chips, but they're like vegetable flavored. That's a bad ear. And apparently my sister's cats are driving her crazy. Oh, actually, I think that's my cat driving her crazy. Oops. Normally, I'd try to work ahead on these things. Like, all of Monday, you guys didn't get a stream because I was working on a video where I actually get around to explaining my story and talking about Dreamwalkers and what it is, what the plot, what the synopsis is, what it's about, the setting, the characters, and whatnot. But oh my god, that is, if y'all have tried to write an elevator pitch for any of your stories, oh hell, it took me all day to write 2 pages. And it's not that I don't have enough to talk about, it's just I have so much I want to talk about. But I don't know where to start. So I thought a good place to start would be talking about just the origin of the story and talking about what it used to be, but then I thought that might be too confusing for people. Like, if I'm going to introduce a story, I'm not going to tell everyone, here's my story. It used to be about this, this, and this, but it's not that anymore. It's actually this, this, and this. Just, it might have been too much. So I had to kind of scrap all that. But I had already recorded, like, real life footage of me going through the old files, so I thought I might just add that as, like, a time lapse while I talk about other things. You know, I mean, I sort of got it worked out. This might have to be a video series, or a 2-parter. Or something. I don't know. I was trying to figure it out, and it was really stressing me out, but I was also sick, so... I was doing the thing where I'm like, oh, I can't figure this out, but I have to figure this out. But I wasn't giving my body ample time to rest and recover, because I am literally sick. Can we expect a video soon? Possibly next week, maybe, because I have the idea for some of the bits to be fully illustrated and not just the usual talky sprites. I actually want to get into illustrating my videos, but see, that's the plan. Whether or not that actually happens is another story. That I'm nowhere near done with the script. I'm still scripting the stupid thing. So probably not this week, maybe next week, but don't hold your breath. Oh, and I decided official streaming days are going to be Tuesdays. Today. And then any other day would be like maybe a bonus stream, but Tuesdays are going to be my streaming days, while I spend the other days working on different things. Maybe a bonus stream on Wednesdays or Thursdays, but again, no promises on that regard. I spoiled you guys with 2 back-to-back streams last week, which was great, but I think it's better for an audience to have a schedule that they can expect and work their lives around, instead of me just saying, I just feel like it right now. Oh god, his hand. Okay, let me actually figure this one out. Does that look like shit? I can't tell. people will know. I have something to look forward to every Tuesday. Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. But then, like, any other stream would just be like like, I had spare time or whatnot. Because I have it all scheduled out to where Mondays where I work on videos because I plan for the videos to be, more illustrated and maybe slightly animated. Who knows? Because that's what I want. So that they'll, take longer. Tuesdays are going to be streaming days where I just work on this to ensure that even if I don't get a video done, something happens on the channel and it ensures I get work done here. Wednesdays is going to be me writing the graphic novel because I still haven't finished it yet. I'm drawing the prologue, but I still have not finished writing the graphic novel, and I don't feel comfortable streaming me writing it because A, spoilers, and B, boring. So Wednesdays are going to be that, mostly. Thursdays are just going to be like Mondays for me. It's just me working on the... Yeah?
If I need to put her in timeout, am I going to put her in here or your room?
Bathroom.
Bathroom, got it.
Less things she can tear apart.
Should I have the light on?
Yeah. Sorry, my cat is apparently being a nuisance. Anyway. So Thursdays and Mondays are going to be me working on videos. Whether or not they get published, I just need to give myself that grace period. And then Fridays are my fan art, fan fiction days. And my clean house and watch movies days. Basically my days off that aren't Shabbat because for some reason I can sort of take Fridays off, but when it comes to Saturdays, I'm just going crazy because I do no work on Shabbat, and it drives me insane because I just want to work on my stories. I'm going to combat this. I could just turn Fridays into a work day again. So I'm not having 2 days off. Well, Sundays, a work day as well, but it's like a pseudo work day. It's weird because in winter I have, oddly enough, less chores to do than in summer. Especially this winter. I thought I was going to be, like I've said multiple times, shoveling the damn driveway, but we've hardly gotten any snow. Now, I say that now. I'm probably just jinxed us because the weather report's saying this Wednesday into the next week we're going to get hammered with snow. So, I'm probably going to be working all weekend on that. Hehe. I can hear my little kitten crying because she doesn't want to be put in timeout, but she was being a nuisance, I guess. I don't know what she was doing. She's probably harassing the other cats. Because, like, they're grown-ass adult cats, but for some reason the little baby is just bullying them. One of the dark... Oh, which one did you watch? I hate to think I traumatized an audience member, but at the same time... My work here is done. I'm doing God's work. Why we never returned to the moon. Okay, I think I remember that one. Is that the one where where they live on a colony on the moon and they get attacked by aliens and people start getting infected and whatnot? Or is that a different one? There are so many creepypastas about the moon. I need the other refs up. Since I'm going to be working on this. Okay, a different one then. Yeah, there are so many. I was listening to one the other day called NASA's building a base on the moon or something like that. And it was about this one guy who is sent to the moon to work on security for this new archaeological dig on the moon. But then aliens attack, of course. But he's the only one who saw the aliens attack. Everyone else thinks he's just stressed out because of what happened at the dig, because someone got crushed. But he's like, no, I swear, this alien came down and it can control our technology. But they looked on the security cams and said, no, there's nothing here. And the doctor, he swears the doctor's infected because she doesn't have a shadow and whatnot. And he's just, wait a minute, am I crazy? It's one of those, am I insane, or am I the only one who knows what's actually going on? I hate those stories, but also I love them because psychological horror is so fun. But I know if I was in that situation, man, that is literal hell for me. Where you swear you know what's going on. There's something wrong. But no one else believes you. Yeah. Which is probably why I really like Ripley as a protagonist in Aliens. Because, I mean, the second Aliens film, which is just called Aliens, because the first one is called Alien. Not a lot of people know that. Come on, guys. In Aliens, she is the only survivor of her crew. And when she tries to tell the company that she works for that they honed in on a beacon of a ship, and there were thousands of eggs of this alien that managed to kill everyone within 24 hours. And they're like, oh yeah, sure. And she's, please, you're not listening to me. And they think she went crazy and blew up the ship for reasons unknown, when she was like, not for reasons unknown. But the ship's computer, of course, didn't corroborate her story because the android that was on their ship altered files. And the company screwed them over. So, of course, it's gonna look like she went crazy and killed everybody. I really like that movie. If you guys haven't seen Aliens, I mean, not only is it just a classic horror film, it's also just a really great movie. It's classic horror. The first one's kind of boring, but at the same time, it's good. Like, it's a good study of film history, because then if you look at modern horror films, it's like, it's night and day. I am very much struggling with this jacket, and I prefer the second Aliens, honestly, because it's got space marines, and it's more action oriented than the first one. The first one was more like slow build, kind of impending doom, cosmic horror. You don't I don't think you have to watch the first one to enjoy the second one, because if you watch the extended version of the second one, you pretty much understand. They summarize the first one pretty well, where it's basically Ripley was the commander of a ship, of a salvage crew. They honed in on a distress signal on a beacon on a ship. A crew member got infected with an alien. It killed him, and then the alien proceeded to one by one pick off her entire crew. The android that was aboard their ship went crazy and tried to kill Ripley until she was like the only survivor aboard the ship. She got away and was the only survivor. That's basically the first film. There's a lot of other nuance to it, like the fact that the company that she worked for sent them to that ship knowing full well what they might find, but also then changed the files so that it looked like they were disobeying orders, so then the android had to protect the asset. It's really good. I mean, the first one's very slow build. The second one is just better. Because it's a James Cameron film. And I know, I always say, James Cameron is a madman, but he did break a lot of movie boundaries with that one film. And I think it's the best movie of all time. The special edition, extended, director's cut of Aliens is the best movie. It's my favorite movie of all time. Hey, Tab, can Hawk come out now? Okay, because she's really crying.
Yeah, I had to get some stuff set up in my room.
Oh, okay.
Put some stuff out, but
What'd she do?
she was relentlessly attacking Boshi.
What? Boshi's a full-grown cat.
Well, yeah, but I don't want Boshi to get super stressed and be all over my carpet again.
Okay, yeah, I get that, but still, I'm just thinking Boshi should grow some balls and just smack a baby.
Well, she was.
Yeah, you heard it here, folks. I advocate smacking babies.
Boshi had Hawk pinned and was smacking her.
Oh, well.
And then let her off. And then Hawk would jump on her and start bapping at her. So I just decided to separate them.
Well, it's because
Threw Boshi outside and threw her in.
Hawk was playing.
I don't know. The way they were acting, it seems like Hawk finds it funny, but I don't because I have to clean it up.
Yeah, yeah. I don't actually promote smacking babies, guys. Come on. I just think it's funny that a full-grown cat feels threatened and bullied by a kitten who is barely half her size. You know, I'm going to draw Iris on a separate layer and then just kind of erase around it. So that means I have to erase this. Yeah, yeah. This is, might turn into a whole video series, but, my family used to be a host family for foster care. So we would take in a bunch of foster kids, and oh my, do I have stories. A lot of it I can't get into on stream because legally I can't get into it on stream. So if I do a video, it'd have to be like heavily edited, so no one can like just gotta protect the identities of these ape shit children. But, you know, I don't know. I understand some the kids that are in foster care. It's not their fault that they're in there because their parents are just fuckheads. But of course, you can't tell them that because then you're harassing a child, and just what the child is. Just, I mean, ugh. I was a kid being treated like a criminal for calling another kid out on their BS and saying that their parents are the reason they're in foster care because their parents are addicted to drugs. And we got in a lot of trouble for that. I was like, what? It's the truth. Yeah, but you don't tell them that. It's like, what am I supposed to tell them? Anyway, yeah, I got a lot to say on the American foster care system, but at the same time, there's a lot I can't say because we're still on record. Half the kids we fostered graduated by now, so I think it's fine. But I would have to change names and places and dates for security reasons, so that would be a whole series. Wait a minute. You know, as an adult, I find it hard to stay mad at children because now I know all of their behavior is learned. So if a kid's acting like a little shit because they learned it from their parents, or that their parents didn't, implement in them, this is not how you act. Or the parents just don't care. That's the worst bit, when the parents just don't care what happens or what their kid does. And then they're surprised when the state steps in and says, you are not fit to be a parent. But that's a whole legal rant that is kind of a bummer to get into. Which race was 5 younger siblings and cousins. Oh my god. You're from one of those families that have the strange concepts of raising the siblings and cousins together. See, my family didn't do that. Mostly because my cousins are either 30 years older than me or 30 states away. Yeah. He's constantly across country. Yeah. I don't know. I guess it's just a my family thing that we're that we're so spread out, but at the same time, I thought it was a white person thing. Where it was like, because most of my friends growing up were Mexican, and they would say, "Oh yeah, my cousin lives with me, and my aunts and uncles are constantly visiting and whatnot." So I thought that was just a Mexican thing, that their families are constantly hanging out and very, very close like that. But it turns out there are other families that do that too, and I'm just, what? It was just so baffling to me because my family doesn't do that. We hardly, would meet up for Christmas. Maybe 4th of July. Now, 4th of July was really big because it was in summer. The family had property up in the woods, and we would like all have like a huge barbecue camping trip for 4th of July. So I remember gathering for that. But then when shenanigans happened that I don't know the full details of, but they lost the title to that one woodsy property, and then we couldn't go there anymore. I won't say where it is, just to protect my own location, but yeah, it was it was a really nice area. It had a lot of, it was very woodsy. There was an old mine shaft there that I never got to see personally because I was too young at the time, and by the time I was old enough to go see it, that we had already lost it by then, which was a bummer because I would love to have seen a gold mine shaft, like an old mine shaft. That's so cool. But yeah, I never got to go see it, and yeah, just a lot of good memories up there, but I'll never get back. Just has this huge house of 4 family. That, yeah, very practical. We suffer a lot. Hey, have you seen the price of property taxes, man? If you can fit your entire family in one house, I say go for it. But at the same time, make sure you all have plenty of yard space and bathroom space and whatnot. Which I don't know what it's like where you live, Chio. Or is it Cio or Kyo? Or I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce anything. But in America, technically, property taxes are illegal. On a technicality, they should not exist. In America, at least. They were only implemented during the Civil War as a way to punish the South for having an opinion. Now, you'll have to fact check me on that one. I'm pretty sure it was the Civil War where they implemented the property tax. It was either civil or revolutionary, I don't remember. But it was an American war that they implemented for the government to make more money. But then when the war ended, they're like, we like having more money. Let's just keep the property tax going. Even though in our Constitution it clearly states taxing property is illegal. But we just won't tell them that. So it was probably the Civil War. So yeah, little fun bit of American history. The way her hair is, it would actually be squished down here. Don't want to commit tax fraud again. Well, here's the thing about taxes. And at least with American history, we started a whole revolution because we didn't want to pay the taxes to a government that didn't properly represent us. So if you feel that your government is not properly representing you with the tax money you are paying, I don't think you should have to pay it. If the government would produce a receipt of exactly where my tax money is going, then I'll consider paying it. But if they're gonna just say, yes, give us taxes and whatnot and pay us money, but we're not gonna tell you what we're using it for, I'm sorry. You're not properly representing me with the use of this tax money, so... I mean, Al Capone, one of the most famous American gangsters, who was really a big bootlegger, because he was really big during Prohibition, had soup kitchens set up to help feed the poor that were actually fronts for money laundering and transporting weapons and guns to the citizens of America and whatnot. You want to know what they finally arrested him for? Al Capone, big snorky Scarface himself. Do you want to know how they finally found enough grounds to arrest the biggest gangster in America? Tax evasion. They sent him to Alcatraz for tax evasion. Not murder, not espionage, not bootlegging, and not the transport of illegal weapons. No. Tax evasion, because he didn't file proper taxes with all the money he was making during Prohibition. Like, excuse me? Don't fuck with the IRS, man. I don't know what it's like in other countries, but my God, when I learned, they didn't teach us much in school, but when I learned, that Big Snorky was arrested for tax evasion, not the menagerie of other things that he had done, huh? That's what they nabbed him for? That's what got him in the slammer? On Alcatraz? And even more scared of the IRS. Yeah, you should be afraid. You should be very afraid of the IRS, but also don't take them too seriously. Why do I feel like I'm drawing him differently here? It's his nose. It's gotta be his nose, right? It's gotta be. Yep, it's his nose. That and his eyes look kind of small. Alright, here's how we fix this. I hate perspective. What is it? What, woman? What? What is it? What's wrong? Did I leave the toilet seat up again? What? Anytime an art piece isn't working for me, I try talking with it like I'm a suburban husband. Is it trash day again? Did she get new makeup? Did we leave the toilet seat up again? What, woman? What? Why are you mad at me? You should know. Ah! I'm sorry, but as a woman, I despise when women do that. When a woman is mad at someone, I don't think I've done this. And if I have, I apologize profusely. But when they're mad at someone and then they won't say why they're mad because the other person should know. Well, if you don't know, then I'm not telling you. It's like, excuse me. If I'm upset with someone, First of all, if I'm really upset with someone, I give them the cold shoulder. Because I just don't want to talk to them until I've calmed down enough to where I'm ready to start the conversation. But honestly, a part of me is like, if I give them the cold shoulder long enough, then they'll ask me what's wrong. But then if something's wrong, I should just tell them, hey, this is bothering me. But this is also me trying to test to see if they even care. Because if they see I'm upset and then don't ask why I'm upset, then that just tells me that they don't care. But at the same time, if I'm upset and I don't say why I'm upset, then obviously I'm not that upset. Because if I was upset, I would tell you why I'm upset. So it's a double standard, double-edged sword. I'm having trouble drawing the stupid mouth. Let's just start from a sketch. So I get it, but it also pisses me off. And ladies, for any of y'all listening, I think we need to have a convention. A convention intervention with all ladies around the world. Sometimes it's not the man's fault when he misunderstands. Can we all agree that sometimes it's not the man's fault for misunderstanding? Because let's be honest, ladies, we are cryptic creatures, needlessly so. Can we all agree? I'm standing on my soapbox for this one. Because a lot of people say, oh, men are so stupid, men are idiots, men are like children. It's like, well, then you married them, so what does that make you? I mean, this looks weird. And I think it might be her eye. Oh! The positioning of certain anatomy is slightly off kilter. Not gonna lie, I prefer to take the fault just to end the conflict. Yeah, but that doesn't fix the problem, man. If you just take the fall to end the conflict's just gonna come up again because you're not actually fixing the problem. The problem is there's a communication error. So if you just say, oh, yes, dear, I did the thing. All right, I'm sorry. Whatever it is, I'm sorry. That's not gonna fix the problem. The problem is there's a communication error and both parties do not understand each other's communication styles. So the problem's just going to continue to exist until it becomes a real problem. It's so funny. I have a lot of advice about relationships and how connection works, even though I've never been in a relationship. You can ask all of my high school friends, man. I was the one they went to for relationship advice despite never being in a relationship ever. I thought it was funny and I told them, hey guys, I've never been in a relationship, so take what I say with a grain of salt, and then they would follow my advice and you're like, you know what, yeah, it actually worked out for us. And I'm just, oh. And then Endgame came out and I'm like, I guide others to a treasure I cannot possess. I'm the Red Skull of relationships. I guide others to a treasure I cannot possess. Or, as Rebecca Parham would say, I'm the girlfriend fairy. It was usually the guys, too. The guys would come to me with relationship problems. Because like, hey, man, you're a girl, right? And I'd be like, I think so. And they would ask me about girl advice. Or I'm just, you know what, honestly, if she's going to continue to treat you this way and then expect you to treat her like a princess, man, you deserve better than that. As a human being, you deserve to not be treated like trash. If she's going to expect privileged treatment and whatnot. I was just talking to my friend and asking for advice. which is a lot of relationship problems stem from the fact that, you know, you need to understand each other's love language. How they feel and show love is very important, because if you don't understand that, you're not going to know when the other person loves or cares for you, or doesn't love or care for something. It all comes down to a communications problem. If you don't understand, or like if you don't know the other's love language, there's going to be relationship problems. Even if both parties truly and dearly love each other, if they don't know the other loves the other, there's going to be problems. Now I got this stupid song stuck in my head, and I don't know where it came from. But I'm not going to sing it. I don't know why I have that song stuck in my head. Hey, I didn't say anything, so you don't. I'm fairly certain we have different songs stuck in our head. I'll give you a hint. Mine's from VeggieTales. Why is that song in my head? Well, I was talking about the IRS, and they just show up in that one song, so I guess it's fine. Also, I'm sick, so I'm really stuffy, and my ears are clogging up. So it's just yeah. Well, it was in that one song called like "Waiting for Santa" or something, and all these people are knocking on Larry's door, and he's like, "Who are you?" And they're like, "I'm a bank robber, and I've come to steal your whatever." I'm a Viking. And then Larry opens the door, and it's like, who are you? I'm from the IRS, and I've come to, and he slams the door in their face. It's hilarious, but also, it's a song about Christmas, so I hate it, and it's just stuck in my head. Just why? It's January. Leave. Foul demon. Well, you know, he doesn't pay his taxes. Because, you know, honestly, Santa could get away with not paying taxes by saying it's a non-profit charitable fund. He could get away with it by saying he's a non-profit organization. But he would have to provide proof of his elves would have to provide proof of employment. But if they can claim it's volunteer work, so then it's not technically employment. But then how does he keep the power on? Does he have like windmills up there or something to harness the power of the Arctic wind? I don't know, man. If you get into the logistics of Santa Claus, it's pretty dumb. But I grew up on those stupid Tim Allen movies, so that's kind of... I try to think about the logistics, but at the same time, it's like, how do adults in those Hallmark Christmas movies, how do they not believe in Santa Claus when presents just show up at their house in the middle of the night, and they did not buy that? Do they just always assume the other parent bought it? But what if you're in a single parent home? and presents just show up at your place. I don't know. If you try and poke too many holes in it, it ruins the magic. It's like, it's Santa Claus, guys. Let's just not deal with that. Running on hamster wheels. That's pretty good. You know, with all it probably all runs on coal. Because what do you think? Because if he gives coal to all the naughty children, it has to come from somewhere. And the Arctic has a lot of coal deposits up there. Because of the, something to do with the Ice Age. And the mass freezing and, you know, the fossil fuels and whatnot. You know what, I'm gonna do that. Don't apply. I'm gonna finish drawing the face and then move it down. So yeah. Which is probably why they're all so, all the elves are so short. Because, you know, like, the dwarves in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, they were miners, and the reason why they're so short is because when you worked in the mines, you lack nutrition. And they did send a lot of children to work in the mines, so miners are miners. You know, I don't want to get into the lore of Santa Claus while I'm working on my graphic novel that has nothing to do with Christmas. I thought about one time writing a parody of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, but the Grinch was the Grinch was easily overstimulated and like loud noises physically bothered him. So when all the Who's down in Whoville are being obnoxiously loud with all their noise and their Christmas jargon and all the bright flashing lights, it just drove him crazy. So he had to move out of town so he wouldn't have a seizure. He's like epileptic or something. So one year he's like, you know what? I'm so tired of having to take an ice bath in the middle of winter just so I don't have a seizure. I'm going to steal Christmas. And then they're like, why'd you steal Christmas? And then he's like, I'm epileptic, you assholes. And they're, oh. And then it would be a story about some people don't like loud celebrations, and it doesn't mean that they're a Grinch. It just means that they just are different from you. And it would end with, like, Cindy Lou sending the Grinch, like, a Christmas card and having, like, a quiet celebration. Santa Claus creepy. Yes, there is! Oh my god! I just saw that. There are Santa Claus creepypastas too. There was one about, what was it called? I think it was by Tchaikosvky Pasta, where he went to the North Pole and they ran into some of Santa's elves, but instead of giving them gifts, they were giving the elves were giving them body parts of previous people that were had gone missing up at the North Pole. It was quite terrifying. But yeah, there are plenty of creepypastas about Santa Claus and Christmas. A lot of them have to do with Krampus, because he's terrifying. I remember one about this mall Santa took a job because he was like he needed a job, so he got a job at a mall being a mall Santa, and the people he would work for did like this ritual where they would sacrifice children to Krampus and whatnot, and it was terrifying. Perfect way to spend Christmas with family. Actually, guys, I know I talked about it last time, but one of the best Christmas creepypastas that actually scared the bejeebas out of me was, it was a My Little Pony one. It was a prequel to Something Sweet to Bite. Because it took place on Heartswarming. There was another one where it was about, it was called like a Heartswarming Horror or something like that. Happy Heartswarming, or it had the title had something to do with Heartswarming, and it was about where like Grogar was their world's version of Krampus, because at that point Grogar wasn't introduced into the official canon. But he is an old MLP villain. It was actually quite terrifying. Scared the crap out of me. Not just the story, because it's just terrifying when children are in peril for me. But also, I think it was done by Scribbler Productions, and the sound design that she adds in her videos is absolutely terrifying, because instead of just narrating, Applejack screamed as she was dragged into the darkness. There's actually screaming and clawing, and in the background by the voice actors, full voice cast and everything, with all the sound effects. So that gets me a lot more than just narrations like with Dark Somnium and whatnot. If you add sound effects, man, it's gonna freak me out. Which, was it Scribbler who did Something Sweet? Who narrated Something Sweet to Bite? Because they added the full sound effects and everything, so I could hear everyone dying. And the voice actors were giving it their all. Oh my god. Applejack's voice actor for Something Sweet to Bite was really good at screaming. Because there's a legit scene. It's not a spoiler, because it's like the first death of the creepypasta. Apple Bloom was pushed into into a barrel of boiling caramel, and it killed her. And then Applejack was trying to pull her out of the barrel, but she was getting the caramel stuck to her, and then she got pushed in as well, and she was stuck in the vat of boiling caramel while her skin was falling off. And it was visceral. The description itself was visceral, but also hearing Applejack's voice actor screaming in agony in the background was awesome. It was awesome. But it freaked me out. I had nightmares for weeks after listening to that story. I couldn't eat candy for a good month after listening to that. It's not that I was afraid that it was actually going to happen to me. It's just every time I would look at a piece of candy, I would think about the story and just go, ugh, I can't eat candy right now. I didn't imagine. Yeah, MLP creepypastas are a lot scarier than people give them credit for. And I think it's because MLP is so unassumingly child-friendly. So then when people write creepypastas for it, they go all out. I talked about last time my favorite being Apple Sleep Experiment, but another one of my favorites is called The Cask of Appletteato, which it's a reference to Edgar Allan Poe's Cask of Amontillado, but it's rewritten with Applejack and Rarity. And they're the characters, and it's really good. I'm also a big Edgar Allan Poe fan. I like his stuff. Especially Edgar Allan Poe, honestly, was the father of creepypastas. Because if you listen to any of his old stories, like Fall of the House of Usher, or The Black Cat, or one of my personal favorites. What was it called? Anyway, he wrote a story about someone who was afraid of being buried alive. And then they woke up and it turns out they actually were buried alive, and it was like written like a modern day creepypasta. And it was really good. It was just, oh my god, this is where we got our inspiration from. This is it. So it was just more, it was very it's very awesome to read old American literature and go, oh, this is what inspired a whole movement on the internet. It was stuff like this. PG things get really scary. Yeah. Like Teletubbies. Have you seen the creepypastas and analog horror involving the Teletubbies? That shit will give you nightmares more than any Friday the 13th movie ever could. And Friday the 13th is not scary. I'm sorry to anyone who thinks those movies are actually scary. Slasher horror is not scary to me. It's too funny. It's comedy. It is dark humor comedy. I'm sorry, I just can't. I can't understand why people would watch something like Freddy Krueger or Chucky and actually be scared. It's just too funny to me. I'm gonna save, take a sip. It's also, the opposite is also true, because then if you watch or look at something like Five Nights at Freddy's, most of the fan art or fan fiction for Five Nights at Freddy's is tooth-rottingly sweet and cutesy. Same with like Bendy and the Ink Machine. It's very cute. And, you know, and sweet, and they draw Bendy as this cute little demon darling, and it's all Fleischer Bros style, and it's adorable. It really is adorable. But then if you look at the actual game, you're like, what the hell? What is this? It was my first one, but I don't think it scared me that much. What was my first creepypasta? Because I know the internet's first ever creepypasta, the first one written, I think, is called Ted the Caver. That one is really good. Because, you know, it's very slow. So, be prepared for a slow burn. But Ted the Caver was really good because it started as a blog. As an online blog of this one guy talking about this, cave that he and his friend were exploring. And it had pictures with it. It was a real-time blog that people could follow and whatnot. And it was in essence the internet's first creepypasta. And that just sparked the whole trend of writing stories that feel true but aren't true. Which is why, you know, like things like Everyman Hybrid and Marble Hornets are so popular, because they feel real in the way they're made, but they're not. Yeah, really good. The ending left a little to be desired for me, but it makes sense because, you know, if the person dies, they're not going to make an update blog post saying, here's what happened to me, I died. No, if it's a blog, you're not going to get that closure because they're dead. I just realized I haven't been adding Adam's apples to any of my men. So I feel like I need to fix that. Because there are some characters I have that a lot of people, I showed them to my family and they thought they were female. It was like, he's a male. His name is Ezra. It's like, oh, I thought that was a chick because of the eyelashes. I'm like, eyelashes are not a feminine trait, guys. They're like, well, make it more obvious that he's a male. So I was like, all right, well, fine. I guess I have to add Adam's apples to the Adams. I honestly forget to add that to, in my art. I think my first official creepypasta was Slenderman. I mean, that was my first exposure to creepy internet horror, but my first story that I listened to, I can't remember what it was. I do remember the channel. It was on the channel called Creepsmicpasta, which I've stopped listening to him after the grooming allegations came out, so I just kind of left. I left his channel. Even if it wasn't true, just the way things were handled was very messy, and there was a lot of proof that he did do it, so I was like, I'm not going to support this man anymore. In any fashion, so I left. Now, some of his stories are still on my favorite creepypasta playlist, because he's the only one who did that story. And I'm just, damn it, I really like the, Finding Noah's Ark in Greenland story, or the On the Hill. I love On a Hill. That's one of my favorite creepypastas. It's in my playlist. Because it's just terrifying. But he's the only one who did a narration for it. Lavender Town did a lot of really good creepypastas too. I think I have some of hers saved in my playlist. She did, My Dad Doesn't Like It When I Talk to Dead People. That one was pretty good. She did The Showers, which that one's a classic. That one's really good. I think I prefer her version of The Showers because it was shorter and she, just did the first bit. Which was pretty good, because then when they do the story continues and it was the kid that went to it, it just, I don't know. The first half of the story was really good. Now, a lot of people also sing the praises of this one creepypasta called, Barabushka or something like that. Baroska? I don't remember. It starts with a B, and it sounds Russian. There's a kitty in my windowsill. Don't knock over my plant again, you dick. Sorry. The cat is sitting in my windowsill. She knocked over my plant yesterday, spilled dirt everywhere, and I had to clean it up. No, not Babushka. That's the Russian dolls. This one no, it's not that one, but my dyslexia is through the roof, so it looks like Babushka, but it's not. But it's where there's this town that all the kids' names start with a K and whatnot, and sometimes there's this loud wood chipper or this screaming that's going on in the mines, and all the adults don't talk about it, yet no one actually leaves the town for very long. I thought, the premise is really cool, but then when you actually read the Oh, yeah, I know. Babushka means granny, but I thought Matra Yoshta. Okay, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Matryoshka? Yosh Yoshka? Matryoshka is the Russian doll. Okay, I thought I knew babushka meant granny, but I thought, that was also the name of the Russian dolls that, the dolls within the dolls. I thought that was also called babushka because they look like grannies. Oh, but if they're actually called that, I will keep that in mind. Anyway, there was that creepypasta where it was the whole town was in on this conspiracy or whatnot. It's the premise sounds good, but then when you read the story, it's like, oh my god. The whole town is okay with their daughters being kidnapped and raped to keep the population going. I'm like, there are alternatives for that, man. Anyway, it's dark and gruesome and it's like not even that. I mean, the great thing about creepypastas, some creepypastas, is when they're scary, but you can see it happening. It's like, yeah, that could actually happen. That's when they're scary. Like Pen Pal. Pen Pal, that's one creepypasta that I absolutely will always sing the praises of because it could actually happen. Which is what makes it so scary. It was... Yeah, I'm not sure how to pronounce that either. Anyway, in my opinion, a creepypasta is really shines when it's freaky, but you can see it happening. Like, there's a possibility it could happen. Or it's like so outlandishly freaky, and you're like, yeah, this would never happen, so I can enjoy it because it's fantasy. It could never happen. Or it plays on an old childhood fear, like there being a monster under your bed or something. There was one creepypasta, and I really needed to start memorizing the names because this one genuinely upset me. Because it played on childhood fears. It was this monster that was, like, tormenting this poor child. And it just would not leave them alone. And no matter what they did, and no matter where they went, that monster would always find them and basically psychologically torture them. And that just was genuinely upsetting to me because, you're already helpless as a child, but to find that there's a supernatural deity that's just tormenting you and following you wherever you go to the point where you cannot sleep at night lest the thing kills you or whatnot, it's very upsetting. But it was very well written. Because then there comes to a point where if that monster is really going to pick on a child, it does not deserve to be, to call itself, a monster or have power over you if it's going to pick on a child. So then you just get angry at it. I can't draw crossed arms. Yeah, like, the one turn it off. Very outlandish, could never happen, but it still freaked me out. Like zombie movies. A lot of people said, oh, it could happen because of cordyceps and whatnot. Well, the cordyceps don't work like that, honey. And even if they did, they're easily killed by fire. And it would only grow in certain populated areas. Now, movies like Outbreak, that one terrified me because it was an airborne virus that spread from monkeys to humans, but the monkey that caused the disease was a healthy carrier. And when it jumped to humans, it mutated from one person to another and then turned airborne. So that it was really hard to stop. It's a really good movie. It's got Dustin Hoffman in it and Cuba Gooding Jr. as the main scientist. And I really like that movie. Freaked me out because honestly, the virus wasn't even the scariest part of that movie. The real villain of that movie was the American government. Because rather than find a cure and send help to an infected town, the government was prepared to just blow up the whole town for containment. And it was just, really? They have the cure ready. But no, it was too much of a risk for the virus to get out, so they would rather blow up the town. So the real villain was the American government in that one, and the is it the CDC? Yeah. Ah, my ears are clogged. Well, I was hoping to get page 5 and 6 done, but it looks like that's not gonna happen. I might get 6 done off stream because, man, drawing crossed arms is hell. So I'm gonna draw his face, and then this one's gonna kill me. Just perspective. Ah, the misery. Perspective wants to be my enemy. Spare the sympathy. Everybody wants to be my enemy. Look out for yourself. You know what? Let's just save myself the pain. Here, guys. Pro tip for being a digital artist. It is not cheating to copy paste your own art. Professionals do it all the time. For the sake of consistency, copy paste is absolutely acceptable. Like Buck's head right here, this character. That's the same head. I just copy pasted and edited on top of it. To change his expression. Now, it might make things look a little stiff and whatnot, but you can easily edit it. Editing's a little easier than redrawing from scratch every time. You don't have to invent the wheel. Reinvent the wheel every time you draw a different panel. Like, for page 2 of this comic, I copy-pasted the entire background 3 times. Just for consistency, rather than kill myself redrawing the same background 3 times. Yeah, I just copy-pasted it. Oh yeah, without copy-paste, oh my god. Copy-paste was invented by a traditional artist because they were so sick of redrawing the same thing over and over again. It's a tool. It's meant to be used. Now, a lot of people make the same argument with AI, saying that AI is a tool and that it's meant to be used. Well, here's the thing. where I respectfully disagree. AI would, in theory, be a great tool if it was only used as that, as a tool. But the way people are using it, they're just using, putting in prompts in the AI machine and then posting that without editing it, or just like, here, let's draw an art piece and then have AI add something on top of it as like an experiment or something. But no, it's just they're just saying, do this, and then post it, and then saying, look at what I did. And then you know what the computer did? The computer just pumped out a bunch of algorithmic, this is what people like when it comes to this thing. And they just copied other people's art that, are not getting proper credit. My ears are clogged, so my hearing is way off. Oh my god. Hey, no, guys, I gotta mute my mic real quick because I gotta blow my nose and I don't want to gross you guys out. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm a little better, but now my left ear is completely clogged, and I am in hell. I am in agony. Ah. That is awful. I hate being stuffy. Ah. Like, I know the sketch was a little bit more dynamic and whatnot, because he was, like, glaring up at him, but... Ugh. I just can't be bothered. That needs to be up top, merged down, right? To keep the name. Spare the sympathy. Everybody wants to be my enemy. Look out for yourself, my enemy. Alright, so let me explain this one because it's driving me crazy. This is Buck. And he's the one in the previous page who's sitting up on the ledge looking down at them. And he is tilting his head up while looking down at them because he's like, thinking about what David is saying here. Explaining who these people are. When David said he was going to be coming alone. He's got his, like, head tilted back while looking down his nose at them. Because that's just his personality. So how do you draw people looking up and down at the same time? Like, how do you... Okay, this neck bit, I think... I had to reference the shit out of this neck thing, but I don't know how to draw noses. Like, he's got a... Buck has a schnoz, okay? He has a nose. So how do I draw that honker from the below perspective without just doing this? Like, how do you noses? Now, I know I can always, like, shade in the nose, but he's got a face. How do you face with drawing? Ah! So I'll just, oh, I forgot to draw his, there we go. Well, I said I was in agony and miserable, so the song Enemy by Imagine Dragons popped in my... Is it by Imagine Dragons? The song Enemy? I think his neck is too long. That might also be adding to the awkwardness of the pose. But his head's tilted up. Okay, yeah, it's Imagine Dragons. I didn't want to say, I was like, oh yeah, I love this song by Imagine Dragons, and it's like 21 Pilots or something like that, because that'd be awkward. I like maybe 4 Imagine Dragons songs. Alright, they're a biggest fan. Oh, excuse me, yawn. Alright, I can... For now, I can get rid of her pose, and I'm just gonna pull up Bucks. Reference. I need to... I drew Iris's prologue reference. I might need to draw Bucks just so I have something to look back on. Because this is him in the main comic. And he's got, he looks different, shall we say. But his hair is mostly the same, I think. No, it's slightly longer in the flashback. Okay. He gets a haircut. Ugh, is that how you draw Veil? Path to heaven is through miles of clouded hell. A legit lyric in one of their songs. What was that song called? Is that called Begin or Believe? What was that song called? It's time to begin. I'm just the same as I was. Why don't you understand? I'm never changing who I am. What Imagine Dragons song is that? It's one of my favorites and I don't know the title. I'm a fake fan. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to not draw his face. I'm going to come back to that later. I'm just going to draw his body so I can move on to the next page. Well, monotonor... What? Monotonous. Oh, that's what it is. Well, it's just the perspective on his face is bothering me. I'm not sure what... I mean, see, he's trying to look up, so you would see, like, under his chin, but he's also looking down, so, you know... You'd see the bottom of his nose, but I'm not sure I drew that correctly, so that pose is off. Now, line art for me, typically I can get it done really fast, but for some reason when I stream it, it takes me 5 years to do. So yes, it is that monotonous, even though coloring is more tedious, you know, and rendering compared to line art, because for line art I'm just doing the lines. But I get coloring done seemingly faster. At least it feels like it's going by faster. I enjoy coloring more than line art. So yes, for me, it is monotonous. I did not know what that word was for a second. I may be a native English speaker, but English speaker? What the hell? I'm native English speaker, but that doesn't mean I know anything about it. Which is funny, because my high school English teacher was from Ukraine. It's like, we're having a Ukrainian teach us English, even though English is her second language, and then she became, she left the school to become an English teacher in Korea. And I loved her as a teacher. So nothing against her, I just thought it was funny that my high school English teacher didn't even speak English properly, she was Ukrainian. But she understood, the concepts, reading comprehension. She understood that, and she taught us MAA format. So it's not that she didn't understand English or anything. It's just she had a very thick Ukrainian accent. Oh yeah, she had a thick Ukrainian accent, and she was awesome. Thick accent. We could all understand her. At least I understood her just fine. What was really funny about her too, she was this bubbly blonde as well. So that was like 2 of my English teachers that I've had were just bubbly, airheaded blondes, and I just thought it was funny. They were both great teachers. Yeah, she was awesome. She only stayed 2 years before she got a better job teaching English in Korea. I'm really self-conscious AF about my accent, but sometimes people don't know what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, I get it. For some non-native English speakers coming to America, I feel I get why you'd feel self-conscious about your accent. Because, let's be honest, a lot of Americans are dumb as fuck. And they just can't understand accents. Or, my dad is already hearing impaired, so when he's talking to someone who has any slight accent, he can hardly understand them. But that's because he's also hearing impaired. Some Americans are just dumb as hell. If you talk to them with a slight British accent, they're like, "Bro, what are you even saying? Learn to speak English." And it's like, they are speaking English. They're just slightly British. Now, there are some American accents, if I went down to Georgia, I speak English. And I can sort of understand Southern accents. But if I went down, to where Southern accents were created, Georgia or Louisiana, bruh, I would not be able to tell you what the hell any of them were saying. It's just because of their accents. The Appalachian accent is so thick and so overtly Southern. My God. Same with what is it called? Michigan. You got a license for that, mate? Yeah. Yeah. The famous "It's Tuesday, isn't it?" But I'm people with British accents, Tom Hiddleston. That's a British accent, and he's very. He enunciates his words very properly and phonetically, and I can understand him just fine, but some people are "Oh, I can't understand you." It's like they're speaking another language. I'm like, "Excuse me? Are you just... are you unintelligent?" It's he's just, instead of walk, he says walk. So, I get why people would feel self-conscious about their accent. But at the same time, if people are going to say, oh, I can't even understand you, it's like, well, then either they need to learn how people talk. And sometimes if you have an accent and you get excited when you're talking, you're going to talk faster. Like, when I get excited, I talk fast and loud. When I get really excited about something. So people are constantly telling me to lower my voice. Yeah. Americans, we have, what? New Yorkan, Boston, Southern, all, 10 dialects of that. Then there's, Alaskan, Michigan, Minnesota has their own accent. California has 3 accents. Each of the southern states, so there's 12 million dialects of American in America. But at the same time, the United States are relatively pretty big compared to, Europe or England, which England, compared to the United States, is a tiny little island, yet they have how many accents in Britain? I know if Elizabeth was here, she'd be able to tell me, how many accents are in just the island of England? 50. 50 dialects. Same with Irish. The Irish, not even just their accents, but also there's so many different dialects of Gaelic, which is their national language, and it's just how in that tiny ass island are there so many dialects? Well, it's because they all hate each other. And they just can't get along. And I can say that because I got Irish heritage, so I can make fun of the Irish. Almost 40 dialects. Why or how? Then, of course, and then there's England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, and they get very pissy if you confuse them. It's I'm sorry. Y'all are just equally crazy. Now, historically, I understand why they would get upset if you confuse them, because they all have reasons to hate each other. Same with, the Korean and Japanese and Chinese. They all have reasons to hate each other, so I understand why they would be pissy at people confusing them for each other. But at the same time, you gotta have some sort of understanding. Some people are, some of us are just stupid, so can we get a pass on that? Some of us are just stupid. Is there a grace window for us not fully understanding or being able to recognize different peoples that we just don't know personally? Yeah, sometimes you just can't differentiate. And it's not it's not me being racist, I just don't know. I'm ignorant. I couldn't tell you the difference between Cantonese and Mandarin. Besides that I think they're both Chinese. I couldn't tell you the difference. Because I don't know the difference. However, at the same time, you gotta... It's like when people confuse Canadians for Americans. Now, I personally don't get offended by it. But if I'm in... let's see. I understand why Canadians would be upset being confused for Americans, because Americans are terrible. They sound the same, but they're written differently. Okay, so, okay. It's like, in Japanese, there's hiragana and katakana. Two different languages, and it's because one is spoken and one is written, I think. I don't know. I didn't take Japanese. And when I did try to learn Japanese, I'm like, wait a minute, so what does this mean? Oh, no, you wouldn't combine these two. That's hiragana, and this other one is katakana. I was like, what the fuck is the difference? Because in English, we don't have that. Now, unless you're saying this is how a language is pronounced and this is how it is spelt, that is completely different, because English is not pronounced the way it is spelled half the time, and I absolutely hate it. As an American, I absolutely hate that our language is not spelt the way it's pronounced. Katakana is for foreign words, hiragana is for Japanese. Okay, well that sort of makes sense to me, but I'm not gonna... I'm definitely gonna get canceled if I try and quantify that in my head. One of the easiest themes of the poem language is everything's pronounced the same as it is written. Thank God! Well, it was like, because what's the etymology of the Polish language? Because the etymology for English is Latin, German, and Greek, which is semi-Latin. But, you know, it's like, because English is a mix of, like, 3 languages. Which is why our spelling and grammar is so all over the place, because it's not one language. See, I drew it there. I don't know why I keep forgetting it here. Maybe if I don't do that. Proto-Slavic roots, so it's basically, understand, half the people of Europe. Well, that's what happens when you, like, live in relative close proximity. I can only imagine what it's like to learn a language like Taiwanese, when their or Chinese, when their language is so tonal. Like, you can, like, in Thailand, there's ma, and then there's ma. You'd think that's the same word, but no, those are 2 completely different words. You are either ordering the chicken or the cat, and you better be very specific with how you pronounce things in Thailand. Same in China. There are like 4 tones, I think, and they can mean different things. Like, yeah, my East Asian history teacher was talking about how a friend of his married a Chinese woman, and he wanted to call his mother-in-law mom whenever he would talk to her, but he accidentally mispronounced it. So instead of saying hi mom, he would say hi, fuck you. And they never corrected him. That's the thing. They never corrected him. 20 years of him saying fuck you to his mother-in-law, and they never corrected him because it's just not their way. And it was, no! Oh no! And he finally realized what, his mistake was. And he's just so embarrassed. Why did no one tell me I was saying it wrong? I think I'm just gonna draw it differently, actually. It's funny. There's literally, I don't remember what it is, but there's literally a phrase in Japanese where you, as a, if you go to Japan and someone's talking to you in Japanese and they're talking too fast for you to understand, you can say this phrase, and it means I am learner. Slow down, please. Patience, I am learner. So I'm learning your language. But transliterated, it means I am baby. There's patience, I am baby. I think that's literally what it means, and it's so funny. Because it's, yeah, when you're learning another language, you're basically on the same level as a baby. Actually, hold on. I'm just gonna move this down. Okay, yeah, that's better. Just apply. I'm gonna have to pause for a lunch break for my broskies, man. I'm getting a little hungry. Where'd that go? That would be there. People were, Japanese people try to speak English to practice it. My friend wanted to practice his Japanese well. Being in Japan, so both sides were speaking there in their foreign languages. Yeah. Yeah, there was one time when I was visiting Israel and my rabbi was talking to this guy he was talking to him in Arabic and the guy was responding in Israeli. because they both could understand each other and they just wanted to practice their each of their foreign languages, and they had a full conversation. He was asking directions for like lunch or something, and he pointed us to this one Arab restaurant that was pretty good. I just don't have the brain to understand foreign languages. I barely comprehended Spanish when I was in class. And that's with all the extra help and practicing it and speaking it and absorbing it and reading it and whatnot. I just nothing stayed. Sometimes I'll slip into Spanish every once in a while, but that's mostly, just tiny phrases. Like saying muy delicioso. Because that's so easy. Half of Spanish sounds like English with an Italian accent. Let's be honest. I had German for 7 years and I barely introduced myself. Well, German is one of those languages where, as an English speaker, I can sort of pick it up because English is basically German, just with added stuff. But yeah, I get it. I took Spanish for how many years in high school, and plus all the other years when I was homeschooled. But my goodness, I would not survive a day in a Spanish speaking country. And they only taught Mexican Spanish because usually that's the one we're gonna run into. Even though you'd think they teach us like Spain, Spanish, or Portugal. Because, they're more, I don't know, widespread. But no. In America, they taught us Mexican Spanish because it's the one we're going to run into more often. Locally. Around the world, probably Portuguese. And it is different. Distinctly different than Mexican Spanish. I'm going to add a bit of an outline here. And let me bring up page 4. Was I laying on the thickness? I was. Okay. Is that for the wide shot? Because that was supposed to color. Alright. So this is why I want to do all the line art and then come back and do the coloring. Just so I keep things consistent on every level. that's not right. Eek. I need to make a note as soon as stream's over, I need to look into how to publish a graphic novel and whatnot. Because I watched Star's video, the Starfish Face, because she self-published her own How to Webcomic book. And she's got her own webcomic series. But mine is a graphic novel, so it's slightly different than a webcomic, I think. But I might just have to treat it as a webcomic if I have any hope of getting it published. And she self-published from, like, the ground up. She kickstarted, got it published herself, advertised it herself, paid for it, got it crowdfunded and whatnot, which is amazing. And you'd think that'd be the way to go because, she made more money that way. But she also handled all of the shipping. I do not want to handle any of the shipping myself. So if I get around to publishing, I'm either going to have to find a way for a company to take care of the publishing and distribution, like the printing and distribution, while I just advertise and whatnot, or I just bite the bullet and learn how to handle packaging. Because that just sounds like a lot of work. A lot of work that I don't want to deal with. I hate shipping stuff. So that's one thing I'll have to look into. I mean, if I go ebook style, that would definitely be a lot easier for me, because then people could just buy the digital copy, which then I won't have to worry about printing issues. But I really, really want Dreamwalkers to be in bookstores. Because I feel like more people would find it that way. I mean, but that's just me being from the old world, where bookstores were literally the only way to get published and whatnot. But I want people to read this story, because it's very important to me, and it's got a message that I believe in. And the dream one day is for it to become an animated series, or like a mini movie or something. Because I got this one book I'm working on called Project Reclaim, which will not be ready for publication in any way, shape, or form for the next 10 years, so don't hold your breath on that one. But my ultimate dream for that book series is for it to become a movie. And, I'm writing it with it becoming a movie in mind. But then I was thinking maybe I should just write it as a movie script and then pitch it that way. But, then if I pitch the movie to a company and whatnot, then it's out of my hands. And the thing is, I want full creative control. And it's not just I'm a control freak thing, even though I am. It's, these stories are my babies. Not just my babies, they've been with me for so long, and to just hand them off to someone else who doesn't care or only cares about making money with the series, I know I can't do that to myself. I wouldn't do that to my baby. There's literally a scripture that says, "Do not sell your daughters into prostitution." So I would not sell my stories to a soulless corporation like Disney that only cares about making money. I'm not gonna sell my children off to a pimp in the hopes that maybe they'll make it. Because there are so many shows that have been pitched to companies and they greenlit the series and then they ended up canceling it because they said, yeah, it won't make us that much money. So we canceled it. And then that story is just going to be lost forever because the company bought the rights to that series. And now we'll never see it because they bought the rights and then they canceled it. So then even the original writer can't touch it. And that's just wrong in my opinion. Creativity should not be bargained with. It shouldn't be bought and sold and packaged away. Stories are meant to be told. So if that means telling it by yourself, I think then so be it. But I know it's a lot harder to tell it by yourself, and it's a lot, it's a lot scarier by yourself, because then you don't have a company to back you up with all their money and whatnot, because of course it has to come down to the money. But wouldn't you rather tell the story you want to tell than hope that someone else, that the corporation cares as much as you do? Which is why, and I absolutely love George Lucas as a director and a storyteller. I honestly think selling Star Wars to Disney was the worst idea ever. And I know why he did it. He did it because Lucasfilm was losing money and he wanted to save jobs. He didn't want those workers to lose their job because Lucasfilm was going under. So he sold Star Wars to Disney in the hopes that he would save their jobs. And then what Disney do? They laid off all those workers and they lost their jobs anyway. And then look at what Disney's doing to Star Wars. There it is, guys! Woo! Star Wars reference of the stream. We are how far into the... We are 2 hours into this stream, and I am only now mentioning Star Wars. Holy shit! Truly a dark time. I must really be out of it, because I ain't mentioned Star Wars yet. A new record, yep. That's an Academy record, guys. I'm going to take a quick break for luncheon. So I'm not going anywhere, guys. I'm just, should I do break or... I'll switch to chill. So that means I need to boot up the other one. Top 2 villains IRL. The government and Disney. Oh my god. Yep. Alright, I'm gonna eat my lunch. I'm gonna eat back here just so you guys don't hear me, chowing down on this sandwich and chips. But I'll still be here. We can still chat and whatnot. Be sure to eat something today, guys. This is your, Tuesday reminder to actually eat something. Eat something and drink water. I say as I don't have a water bottle. Might be too late. Well, remember to eat something tomorrow then. I don't know, is this boring? Like, should I have the other stream up? The other view up so you guys can still look at the art while I eat? Or is this fine? Because there's no background music. I'm not gonna take too long eating, guys. I'm just gonna eat this sandwich real quick. Okay. Now, I said earlier that peanut butter and jelly in a tortilla is the superior way to eat. But at the same time, all the jelly just squishes out of the tortilla. And you're just left with a blob of jelly in your hands while the peanut butter just also sticks to the roof of your mouth. Forgot my tea. Oh no! Are Americans the only people who drink tea cold? Who have like iced tea and don't add milk? Are we the only people who do that? Because that's just a thing, apparently in the UK, if you just drink your tea black, cold, and don't add milk or cream, British people just lose their shit at you. Same with the Irish. They lose their shit. And I'm just, guys, it's leaf water. I always drink tea warm and add no sugar. Yeah. I like chai. Personally. Now, chai is good either way. You can either drink it black or add a bit of milk and sugar. But I only add milk and sugar if it's bubble tea. Because milk bubble tea is amazing. And even bubble tea, I like that cold and warm. Well, see, yeah, because I started doing it in school. Because when I would pack a lunch with, like, bread, the bread would get all soggy. And it would stick to the bag, and it would get gross and wet. And sitting in my warm locker, it would get, it would spoil. But if you do peanut butter and jelly in a tortilla, so what you do is you get the tortilla, you lay down the peanut butter first, and then you layer in the jelly on top of the peanut butter so that, that you can't spread it either way, and then you roll it like a burrito. That way, the tortilla doesn't get soggy. So you can eat your sandwich and not have mold growing on it and it looking at you weird. Also got my veggie straws. Now these are crunchy, so I apologize if you hear me crunching on that. But I will be eating with chopsticks. The only proper way to eat chips. Also gotta stand up, and I've been sitting for 2 hours. Ow! My dog is looking at me funny. Because I'm eating chips and he knows I'm eating. And I haven't offered him anything yet. And he's just looking at me. Would you like a veggie straw? Hmm? Yeah. You like the potato ones? Hot potato. Don't worry, I gave him a treat. I'm gonna have to also take a break for Ilzi's, guys. I'm gonna need to use the bathroom real fast. I do have a window for that, though. So I'll be right back. Oh, the puppy's name is Elias, by the way. I'm back. I got a water bottle, so hopefully that'll help. Okay, there. Oh, come on. Didn't save. It didn't save. I changed the hotkeys on this thing and it didn't save. Well, that's annoying. I'm sorry if you heard me gurgling. I haven't had water all day. Well, I have. Okay, don't get it twisted. I have had water today. Just when I'm usually at my desk, I have the coffee. Because I'm an adult child. It's not activating the talking thing because of the sensitivity levels, but I'm standing a good 3 to 4.5, 3.5 feet away from the mic, and it picks up and it's picking up my crunching. I apologize profusely. All right. Yeah, I apologize. Sorry. I thought I wasn't crunching that loud. I'm sorry. But apparently I were. Alright, and then I gotta switch. It's a pain in the ass, but I really think I should work on my PNG a bit more. Because I only have like 2 modes. It's the drawing one and the chatting one. And the chatting one isn't really that finished. And I had one when I did a FNAF game a while ago, and it really wasn't set up optimally. I mean, I liked using it, but at the same time, it was, I had a hotkey for whenever a jump scare would pop up, but here's the thing, when I get jump scared, especially in FNAF, I leap away from my computer, so I don't really have the, means to, scream properly. There is this, a singing one, but that's with my drawing PNG, not one for when I'm singing and chatting. This looks absolutely terrible. Yeah, I got one for singing and ranting and when I'm yelling across the house. No, that's not his nose shape. I mean, yeah, is it? I mean, it's long and broad, so is that it? I don't know. Maybe there is benefits to having art school, to going to art school, because then you learn how to draw things, I guess. I hate to admit it, guys, but it looks like the professionals were right about something. Ew. I know. A long time ago, and when I say that, I mean like a few months ago, every time I would start stream, I would have the same song stuck in my head. And each time I would I would go live, I would start with the same song. And if I can remember how it goes. Too young, too dumb to realize that I should have bought you flowers and held your hand. Gave you all my hours when I had the chance. Take you to every party, 'cause all you wanted to do was dance. Now my baby's dancing, but she's dancing with another man. Although it hurts, I'll be the first to say that I was wrong. Oh, I know I'm probably much too late to try and apologize for my mistakes, but I just want you to know. I hope he buys you flowers, holds your hand, gives you all his hours when he has the chance to take you to every party, 'cause I remember how much you love to dance. Do all the things I should have done when I was your man. Do all the things I should have done when I was your man. Yeah, my old streams used to start like that because it was just in my head, man. I couldn't get rid of it. Well, now you're gonna have to start every stream singing like this again. Well, that would be a fun little like have chat vote which song we start off with, and I sing a little bit of it. When I used to stream on Twitch, which was the dark times, truly, I used to sing a lot of Jeremy Renner songs because Jeremy Renner's a really good artist. He's a really good singer. FNAF song karaoke when? I don't know. Karaoke streams are one of those, it's untapped potential, but at the same time, karaoke is really awkward because I'm not the best singer, and a lot of those songs are out of my range. I'll admit my own faults, but I am not a soprano by any stretch of the imagination. That's wrong. I am a tenor at best. Most of them are like trap music, so it's really hard to sing along to a lot of the FNAF songs I like. Like the song It's Me. You'd think that'd be really fun to sing along to, but half of it is half of FNAF songs are just out of my range, and got that computer sounds. Wanna bet? I mean, in theory, FNAF would be fun to sing along to. How does It's Me start off with? It goes something like, welcome to your office, settle down and take a seat. Please pay no attention to the terrifying screams. You should heed the warning of the voice that's on the phone. Tonight you might be by yourself, but you are not alone. The masks that we wear pretend they aren't there. Oh my god. For you can only hide for so long, so long, so long. Plus I'm sick, so come on, guys. Why don't you stay the night, then you find there's evil that waits inside. Stay the night, then you find there's evil that waits inside. Stay the night, then you find there's evil that waits inside. Stay the night, there's evil that waits inside. It's me, 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 me. And then and then it's just impossible to sing from there. Oh, God, that hurt. Although I love Try Hard Ninja. And it was full of those. Jeez. Also, Undertale songs, yeah. When Undertale the musical came out, that was a godsend. I am usually against genocide routes, but the song they wrote for Toriel on the genocide route for the musical was so angelic. And it's way out of my range. I could maybe sing along to sing along with Undine. And that's when I'm not sick. However, her song Spear of Justice is really fast, and I don't have that much breath. Even when I'm not sick, I don't have that much breath. Okay, yeah. Because it's happened to me a few times on stream, I'm very paranoid of, like, me forgetting to unmute a mic or something. Or having it being on the wrong window. Because that's happened to me before, and it's so embarrassing. Because there was one time I was, like, 10 minutes into a stream before I realized it was muted. I was just, oh no. Well, oops. What is this anime hair I'm getting away with? There's evil that waits inside, it's me. That's such a banger. So excited the Living Tombstone got their song in the credits of FNAF. Oh my god, that was awesome. Oh no, forgot to mute during online lessons one time. Oh no. Oh, I bet that was fun. Wasn't there this one story about this kid who forgot to mute his mic during a lesson, and the entire class heard his parents arguing in the background the entire time, and the teacher was just like, they were just sitting there in silence, just in shock, listening to these two adults scream arguing at each other while their kid is just on the laptop trying to pay attention in class. Just, oh no, that's terrible. So now you might be by yourself, but you are not alone. Masks we wear pretend they aren't there. For you can only hide for so long, so long, so long. Why don't you stay the night? Then you find there's evil that waits inside. he's got these as well, so I think what I should do is erase that, have it come down, and then appear from behind here to show that these are in front of his ears. So, yes. I hope they make a sequel. Oh, honestly, since they played the Living Tombstones first song, the sequel better have It's Been So Long, because the sequel, I think the sequel is gonna involve the puppet, which has been implied to be Mike Schmidt's brother. And I'm wondering how they're gonna involve the puppet. Like, is the puppet gonna be the one that gave life in this universe? Or is it something else? Because with the last one, they kind of merged the first game and the lore of the third one with Afton being spring-locked. But I'm not going to get my hopes up theory-wise, because I did that for the first film, and I was sorely... not disappointed, but at the same time, it's like... I have to keep in mind, this is the FNAF movie, not FNAF game as a movie. Because it's completely different. Okay, I like that. I like it. And then his hair also goes to sleep. Wait, actually, hold on. Shoot. Okay, and that should goes to hell. Can't you confuse me after Pizzeria Simulator. I like Pizzeria Simulator. For me, that was a good game finale. And then FNAF VR came out. I don't have anything nice to say about FNAF VR, because then it introduced the lore of Glitch Trap, which then they think, oh yeah, that's so interesting, because of course Afton would do that, but at the same time, it undermines Henry and Michael's sacrifice that they did in FNAF 6. Because the bastard came back anyway, and it just it made the ending of Pizzeria Simulator useless. All that work and planning and luring them all back with a false promise, only to like finally release all the remaining souls and put an end to everything. Like, Ultimate Custom Night added to the lore, because then that was Afton in hell being tormented for, for what he had done. Yeah, Sister Location's really good. I love the fun times. I've never played Sister Location myself. I'm too chickened to do it. But I do have the first game and Ultimate Custom. I have First game, Ultimate Custom Night, and Pizzeria Simulator. Because I really like those games. I like the music for Pizzeria Simulator. That one is just so funny. And Helpy is just the best character ever. And I absolutely love playing on in the ball pit with Helpy. And if you miss, he snaps his neck on the ground and he's just on the floor dead. Oh my god, it's morbid, but it's the funniest thing ever. I'm just... Dude, you ask my sister. We were both just dying of laughter. Killing Helpy for like 3 hours. And I'm not the only one who found it funny. Markiplier was laughing his ass off too, so I don't feel too bad about it. That actually looks okay. Yeah, best part of the game. It's so much more rewarding to lose the ball pit. Okay, now the music for Pizzeria Simulator is really good. The music for Roadway Racer, I think it's called Smashing Windshields. Oh my god, that song is a banger! Also, I don't know if anyone else, if you noticed, Talia, one of the guys that broke into the pizzeria in the movie, the one that, spoiler alert, the one that got killed by the cupcake, his shirt was Roadway Racer. That was one of the mini games in Pizzeria Simulator. That was his shirt. When I saw that, I pointed and went, "Le gasp!" Yeah, it was so cool! Alright, I'm gonna do the eye colors for this one before we move on to 6. Because I always include the eye colors in with the line art, because it's just, I like doing it. Also, the ice cream place that Mike was getting was first visited at the mall in the beginning of the movie. That little rainbow thing was one of the final bosses from FNAF World. And it is famously hard to beat and annoying because it's just this giggling rainbow that is apparently really hard to beat. I've never played FNAF World, but when I saw that I would yeah, also MatPat, character named Ness, yeah. And being able to say that's just a theory. It was awesome. Never been. Oh, you've played FNAF World, okay. Is it this one? Yes, it is. I'll admit, I would probably be considered more of a casual fan of Five Nights at Freddy's. I've seen the gameplay. Like I've watched people play the games. I own a lot of the books, but I've only played like 3 of the games. And I haven't read all the books. I don't watch all the theories and whatnot, because I think most of them are just insane. Yeah, the restaurant named Sprinkles. Yeah, that was... Oh, Sparky's, yeah. That was a nice nod. FNAF World and FNAF 3. I've never actually beaten a FNAF game. Well, it's also... My excuse is that I'm a terrible gamer. I'm actually just bad at video games, but I enjoy playing them. So I've actually never beaten a FNAF game in my life. In the first FNAF game, I have not gotten past Night 2. Foxy always kills me at 5 a.m. because I forget to check Pirate's Cove. Yeah. There was a dog animatronic in the parts and service, and I think... No, that one was different. Torture Freddy, like the face that they would smash them in. I think was a reference to the Frankenstein Freddy from the, like, I think it was like from Help Wanted or something. I don't remember. Once FNAF went into VR, I think that's when I kind of lost interest. Now, if it was just FNAF in VR, that I would be fine with it, because FNAF VR, in theory, is very terrifying. And it most certainly is terrifying. But then they tried to add lore to everything. And I'm not okay with that. Sometimes a story can be just a story. Like Mr. Hippo said in Ultimate Custom Night. Well, if you spend all your time trying to add meaning to everything, frankly, you'll just go insane. Sometimes a story is just a story. But that is neither here nor there. Oh yeah, Dreadbear. Yeah, see, I don't... I say I'm a fan, but at the same time, I don't care. I just liked the thing. Now, I did read a lot of the FNAF Fright books, because I do like when they sort of explain the lore in those books. Like with Chica Come Home and whatnot. Chica Come Home made me cry my eyes out. That's wrong. I was not okay, guys. When I was reading Chica Come Home, an entire box of tissues was used. Yeah, Mr. Hippo is the best character, honestly. My friend, you have met a terrible, terrible end. What also baffles me is that Mr. Hippo has the same voice actor as Funtime Foxy. Like, huh? You what? I love Funtime Foxy. I hate playing with him in Ultimate Custom Night, because I keep freaking forgetting to check his thing. Yeah, Mr. Hippo is the same voice actor as Funtime Foxy in Ultimate Custom Night. It's amazing, their range, just as voice actors. Same with, if you want to really blow your minds, Glamrock Freddy, Funtime Freddy, and Sun and Moon all have the same voice actor. All of them are Kellen Goff. Now that blew my mind when I first heard it. Like, wait a minute. What? Get ready for a surprise. Yeah, but not Glamrock. Yeah, Glamrock Freddy. Yeah, same voice actor. What's really amazing is if you listen to either of the actors' air quote, real voices. They sound nothing like their typical voices. It's awesome. What's really not fair is that Kellen can make those horrendously gravelly voices with Funtime Freddy and Moondrop, but Kellen is really cute. So how does that voice come out of that face, honestly? Okay, all the eyes are colored. Page 5 lines are done. Now on with the show. Please do not crash on me. Alright. Different productions. Like it hits home. Yeah. Sometimes it's funny, but there are some times where I'm like, why does this voice sound so familiar? And then I double check the actor's IMDb, and I'm like, wait, what? Ugh. Like, more recently, I saw a bunch of the teaser clips for Has-Been Hotel. That's coming out like tomorrow or something like that. So which is baffling. And I could not for the life of me figure out why Adam's voice sounded so familiar. And I scoured, I searched high and low for Adam's voice cast, for the cast listing, the official one for Has-Been Hotel, and I couldn't find anything for Adam. So I was just running around in circles, like chewed a hole in the drywall, because I'm like, why does he sound so familiar? What is his voice? And then someone told me, I saw, it was like, who's your favorite character voiced by Alex Brightman? And then Adam was there, and I'm like, huh? That's Alex? Alex Brightman? As in Serpentius and Fizzarali? Voices Adam as well? And then I listened to it and went, that's why he sounds so familiar. He basically sounds like Fizzarali, but less gravelly. So yeah, I love recognizing voice actors, but then it's like, oh my god. When you recognize a voice, but then can't figure out where you've heard them. What's really hell, and this has happened to me a few times, when you recognize a voice actor and you look at their IMDb and you don't recognize a single thing they've been in, yet their voice sounds so familiar. It's like, wait a minute. How do I recognize you? They're in this thing. It's like, I have never seen that thing in my life. Why do I recognize that voice? And then it just drives you insane. What's really funny is an anime, because anime English dub uses like the same 5 voice actors. So when you recognize a voice actor from anime, it's like, oh yeah, he's this, and this guy. And they're all in the same show. Like, I cannot watch Naruto, because I just don't like it. I just don't like Naruto. I'm sorry to anyone who likes Naruto. I just don't like it. And I can't stand the fact that Liam O'Brien, who I love Liam O'Brien, voices in Naruto, he voices like half of the cast. 5 characters are voiced by Liam O'Brien, and he doesn't change his voice for any of them. And I'm just, so wait, what? What was the... Huh? It's funny, but at the same time, it's a pain in the ass. Because it's just, ugh. Yeah, 30 NPCs have the same voice. Yeah. Like, when I first watched Star Wars Rebels, going back to Star Wars real quick, it really annoyed me that Steve Bloom not only voiced a main character, but also voiced, like, 95% of the background characters as well. Like, half of the stormtroopers were voiced by Steve Bloom. And I was just, oh my god, I can't handle this. It's so annoying. Later, it grew on me. Like, I love Rebels now, but when I was first watching it, it kind of annoyed me how every background character was Steve Bloom. Plus, him also voicing a main cast member. But, yeah. What also kind of baffles me for voice actors is that half of them never use their regular voice, and I'm wondering if it's like a contract thing. Because if going back to Liam O'Brien, I absolutely love Liam O'Brien's real voice. I think he sounds really cute, and and it's just he's got a very unique and recognizable voice, without pulling, because like when he's doing his voice acting for anime, he's doing the same voice, but then when you hear his real voice, it sounds nothing like that. So I just wonder why he never uses his regular voice when he's acting, and I'm wondering if that's a contract thing. Like, contractually, he's not allowed to use his regular voice, so he can still, like, do things like Critical Role. But the thing is, for Critical Role, when he played Caleb, who had a German accent, that was, Liam voiced Red Skull in Avengers Assembled. And I have no doubt he used that same German accent, so... I mean, is that a thing? Or do they just not... If they're going to be acting, they're just not going to use their regular voice? I don't know. Because Travis Willingham also never uses his real voice. Same with Laura Bailey, but... Probably can use, but has to... Yeah. Well, it's just Travis Willingham has kind of been typecasted into voicing the big dumb. But he's got the perfect big dumb voice, Like, he can pull the... like, his... Travis Willingham voices... He voiced Hulk in Superhero Squad. He voiced Knuckles from Sonic Boom. He was in a few Barbie movies as a dumb troll. So he does have the perfect voice if you want him to, like, do the big dumb, but like, I like his real voice too. Now, I don't know about Taliesin What's his last name? What's Talison's last name? From Critical Role. It starts with a J. That's just when Taliesin plays characters, he's mostly using his regular voice when he's playing. At least that I've noticed, but, I don't know what he's done. Like, if he does a lot of video games or whatever. I know Matt Mercer does, and Matt, it's just, he can voice anything. Matt Mercer is the perfect DM, because he can pull any voice right out of his ass. And he can hold it, too. He can hold those voices, which is amazing, because there was one time he was playing like a kooky old shopkeeper that was like overtly cowboy, and it was hilarious. There was one time where Liam was like trying to talk, and it's like, I choked on my own spit. And without missing a beat, Matt said, don't do that. It is detrimental to your health. It was just, oh my God. So I have a lot of respect for voice actors, man. They got some real talented superhumans. Okay, I'm gonna change his mouth, because that's the same as when it was before. I say I'm a Critical Role fan, but at the same time, I haven't caught up with Critical Role. Like, I stopped, I really got into it during campaign 2, and I stopped after Molly died. And I don't know what it was, something about Molly Mock as a character, Molly Mock Tea Leaf, really, he really resonated with me. So when he died, by just the bad luck of the die, it hit me really hard. I don't know, Tally, if you remember, maybe Mom does, when I got to that part of the session, but oh my God, Molly's death really affected me. I was bawling my eyes out for a good 3 weeks after it happened. And it was too much. It was too hard for me to listen to the rest of the campaign without crying. And then I started listening to campaign 3, but I stopped listening one Thursday and then never got back into it. I heard it, it's going good, and a lot of, I have no doubts that it's really good. Yeah, that's it. I just don't know how to pronounce that. It's like Jaffe or something like that. But yeah, I really like, most of the characters that he plays, I really like. But something about Molly's character just really sat with me, that his ear is all wrong. That just affected me, and especially his death. It just, I had a hard time getting over it. So I can't wait when Amazon finishes with the Vox Machina animated series. I can't wait for them to animate the Mighty Nine, because I absolutely love the Mighty Nine. But then again, I'm like, oh, I can't wait for them to animate the Mighty Nine. Oh no, I'm not only gonna have to survive the trauma of hearing Molly die, I'm gonna have to watch it too. But since I know it's coming, maybe it won't hurt as much, but that's just wishful thinking. Okay, that's a little better. Nope, wrong expression. Oh, well, dang it, it's right there. Y'all, I might have to end soon. My throat's starting to dry up. I could just, could stay on the coffee for a bit and just pop a cough drop, but then you might hear that in my mouth, so, ugh, I don't know, guys. I know health is important, and you should prioritize your health over everything else and whatnot, but, health is not entertaining. Just look at health food stores. Do you see anyone having fun at a health food store? Yeah, stream is better than sleep. Unless you're doing a sleep stream, and then those are fun. At least the way Big Puffer does them. If you ever have the privilege of sitting in, or at least watching the video of a Big Puffer sleep stream, oh my god, that's the worst form of torture, but also the most entertainment I've had in an evening. It's basically, if you guys don't know, the way Big Puffer does the sleep stream is where he'll try to sleep while the stream is going. He has like an air mattress and his webcam set up. And then the viewers can opt to donate to have a video played on max volume. And usually it's like metal pipe or like tactical nuke incoming. You know, it's just obscenely loud shit being played while he's trying to sleep. And oh my god, he said he'd never do it again several times, and he hasn't done it in a while, so who knows, maybe he actually did stop. But oh my god, those streams, while the biggest form of torture, of self-torture you can put yourself through, however, he did make a lot of money during those streams, because, you know, they have to donate, like, X amount of money to get their video played, and especially you would pay for different lengths of video. So, like, not one person couldn't pay $2 to put in a 10-hour video. That's not how it works. If you pay, like, $2, it'll play, like 30 seconds of that video. So that's why most people would just opt to pay to play sound effects, like metal pipe, while the poor guy was trying to sleep. But hey, he was making money while trying to sleep and getting the absolute shit scared out of him and how loud some of those videos are. And then some people would play like an actually soft, soothing, like lo-fi beats song. It would almost lull him to sleep. And then you would get O'Reilly Auto Parts. Ow! It's, oh my god. He'd just jump out of his skin. Just oh my god! Mods, ban whoever that was. Oh, it's hilarious. So, I would never do a sleep stream, personally. I would never do it. A, because I don't have the setup. And B, oh my god, I would not be held responsible for whatever vile, just backhanded and front-handed insults that would fly out of my mouth if someone interrupted my sleep like that. Because when I'm tired and my sleep is interrupted, I get pissy. Especially when I'm scared. And when something scares me awake, I just say, fuck you and your mother, you should have been a blowjob, you know, type insults. And that would just, ugh, not sure I want to deal with that. A subathon. Yeah. Having to sleep stream every night. Oh my god. Well, I'm imagining, and it is absolute torture. I looked up what a subathon was, and I still can't, for the life of me, quite wrap my head around it. So what, you, like, stream until you get to a certain sub count? And then while you're waiting for the subs to roll in, you just do zany, wacky shit? Is that what it is? So you basically speed run, reaching a few, like, 1,000 subs or whatnot. That just seems like torture, because I've been streaming for how long now? 2.5 hours? And it's just us? I can't imagine what it's like trying to stream for X amount of hours, or days even, trying to reach a sub goal. But usually you do a subathon when you're already at 500 and you're trying to reach 1,000, because then you're already at some sort of uh, renevu, I don't know what the word is. Has a time limit which each treats every time someone. Oh, okay. Gross. I would never do that. I think his shoulders too broad, and his arm is too big. Yeah, I don't think I could ever. Not by myself, man. I value my sanity a little more than that. Now, if I was like a gamer or something, and I was trying to like beat records or something, then that would be fine. But I'm not a gaming channel, and I don't think I ever will be a gaming channel. I mean, I have played games on the channel in the past, but those streams, A, did not do too well, and B, I mean, it was just me playing Plants vs. Zombies. Just the games I like to play aren't really gamer channel friendly, I guess. That, and I'm broke. I can't afford half the games people want to actually see played. Like, I am literally broke. My current balance is 12, so... Too real, bro. Too real. Uh-oh. Might be... Is that better? Is that better? Now, I guess one fun Plants vs. Zombies thing challenge to play would be like, I stream Plants vs. Zombies and I let the chat pick what plants I use, and I have to use them. But also, I've already beat Plants vs. Zombies, so I'm at the replay where Crazy Dave picks my plants, and I have to use those too. So, oh my god. It's 3 o'clock? Oh my. Well. I probably should end the stream soon. My throat's, ow. Yeah, my throat's starting to hurt a little, guys. Matt, we did a full page. We did a full page of lines and a bit of this page. We had lunch. We had a nice chat. All in all, I think a successful stream. Oh, my throat, man. Ugh. How long have I been streaming? 3 hours and 20 minutes. Not the longest stream I've ever done. But almost up there. So yeah, I'm gonna end the stream here, guys. I'm gonna try and stream every Tuesday starting at 11:30-ish. PST, Pacific Standard Time. That's just gonna be the goal from now on, man. I gotta stretch. Ugh. Any other stream that I do will be not scheduled, probably less structured, but it will be announced at least 20 minutes prior to going live. So, yeah. But for sure, Tuesday, 11:30 Pacific Standard Time, I will go live. Like this. So, for sure, see y'all next Tuesday. But for now, bye-bye. God, my throat hurts.